So, have you ever glanced at a calendar and just wondered, why do some of these holidays seem to jump all over the place? Well, today we're going to unravel the fascinating logic behind why church holidays move. You've probably seen this yourself, right? One year you remember celebrating Epiphany on a Sunday, and the next thing you know, it's popping up on a Wednesday. It feels kind of random, but I promise you, there is an incredible system hiding just beneath the surface. To get to the bottom of this, we really have to look at the two main pieces of this puzzle, which, at first glance, seem to completely contradict each other. Okay, first things first, the foundational rule. In the church's official book, the liturgical calendar, Epiphany is what's called a fixed feast. Its date is, and always has been, January 6th. Period. No wiggle room. And here's the curveball. In a lot of places, like here in the United States or in Canada, many of us actually celebrate it on a nearby Sunday. So what gives? Is the date fixed or isn't it? The answer is all about understanding how the entire church calendar is put together. Now, to solve the Epiphany puzzle, we actually have to take a little detour and talk about a completely different holiday, Easter. You see, Easter is the anchor for the entire liturgical year. It's like the gravitational center that pulls everything else into its orbit. And that brings us to this key idea, the movable feast. So unlike Christmas, which is always going to be on December 25th, a movable feast shifts around every single year. Its date isn't fixed, it's calculated. And the one event they are all anchored to, you guessed it, Easter. Just think of Easter as the sun. A whole bunch of other important holidays are like planets, orbiting around it at very specific, fixed distances. So once you know the date of Easter, boom, you can figure out the dates for a whole season of other celebrations. So how in the world is Easter calculated? Well, it's this really cool mix of astronomy and ancient tradition. You start with the spring equinox, which is pegged to March 21st. Then you look for the very first full moon after that date. And Easter is simply the first Sunday after that full moon. It's why it can land anywhere from late March all the way to late April. And here's where you can really see that ripple effect. Once Easter's date is locked in for the year, you just count backwards or forwards. Ash Wednesday, that's exactly 46 days before. Pentecost, that's 50 days after. They're all tethered together, moving in a beautiful, predictable dance with Easter. Okay, so we've got a handle on movable feasts now. But what about Epiphany? We already said it's on January 6th, so it has absolutely nothing to do with Easter's calculation. This, my friends, is where we get to the heart of the matter. And here is the solution, laid out perfectly. It turns out there aren't just two types of feasts. There are actually three. You've got your movable feasts, like Pentecost, that follow Easter around. You've got your fixed feasts, like Christmas, that never, ever change. And then you've got this special third category, transferred feasts. And Epiphany is the poster child for this. So here's the crucial distinction. Epiphany itself isn't movable. Its celebration is transferred. The official date is still January 6th, no matter what. But for really practical reasons, pastoral reasons, they call it, like making sure more people can actually get to Mass without having to take a Wednesday off work, bishops in many countries have the green light to move the public celebration to the nearest Sunday. But that one little decision to transfer Epiphany doesn't just happen in a vacuum. Nope, it actually sets off its own little ripple effect, and it bumps into other dates on the calendar. You see, the celebration of the baptism of the Lord is specifically designed to happen right after Epiphany. It's what formally closes out the whole Christmas season. So it only makes sense, right? If you move when Epiphany is celebrated, you also have to adjust the baptism of the Lord to keep everything in order. This lays it out so clearly. Let's say you're in a country where Epiphany is always on January 6th. Simple. The baptism of the Lord is celebrated on the Sunday that follows. But if you're in a country where Epiphany gets transferred to a Sunday, then the baptism gets nudged to the following Monday, or sometimes even the next Sunday. It all just clicks into place. It's a beautifully logical system once you see it. Okay, so we've solved the puzzle. But this brings up a much bigger question. Why? Why have such a complex system at all? Why not just fix all the dates and make life simple for everyone? Well, the reasons are actually really profound. This whole movable calendar thing keeps Easter connected to the Jewish Passover, which preserves the historical context of what happened in the Bible. It also hammers home just how central Easter is. It organizes huge chunks of the year, like Lent and the Easter season, into one big, unified spiritual journey. And maybe most importantly, it teaches a really powerful idea that sacred time and the regular 9 to 5 clock in, clock out time we all live by are two totally different things. You know, there's this quote that I think just nails it. The liturgical calendar isn't just about scheduling stuff. It's more like a theological map, one that guides believers through the biggest mysteries of their faith, year in and year out. The movement isn't a bug, it's a feature. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. We've just seen how a calendar can be built around what's considered most important. So it makes you ask the question, what does our own schedule, our civil calendar of deadlines and meetings and vacations, what does that say about what we've truly chosen to anchor our lives to? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.